They threw their weapons to the ground. They raised their hands. Some were already on their knees, begging. And still, the gunfire continued. April 12, 1864. Fort Pillow, on the banks of the Mississippi River, a small fort made of earth and timber that would become the stage for one of the darkest episodes of the American Civil War. Inside those crude defenses were about 600 Union soldiers. Nearly half of them were black troops from the 6th United States Colored Heavy Artillery. Many had been enslaved only months earlier. Men who had escaped plantations, who had left behind chains, whips, families torn apart. Now they wore Union blue. Now they carried rifles. Now they fought for something larger than themselves. And they knew one thing. If captured, they might not be treated as prisoners of war. Outside the fort, Confederate cavalry forces approached under the command of Nathan Bedford Forrest. Forrest was known for speed, aggression, and a reputation for ruthlessness. That morning, he surrounded the fort, and the bombardment began. Cannons thundered against the fragile defenses. Wood splintered. The ground shook. Smoke made the air almost impossible to breathe. Men shouted for ammunition. Others screamed for medics. Some simply screamed. The defensive line began to collapse. Forrest sent a demand for immediate surrender. He warned that if he had to storm the fort, he would not be responsible for what followed. The Union commander hesitated. Minutes later, the Confederates charged. They rushed up the embankments under heavy fire, and then they broke through. The fort fell quickly, but what happened next turned a battle into something far darker. Accounts from survivors and later investigations reported that many Union soldiers, especially black troops, tried to surrender. Weapons were thrown down. Hands were raised. Some shouted that they were giving up. But gunfire continued. Men were shot at close range. Some ran toward the Mississippi River, trying to escape by swimming. They were fired upon in the water. Witnesses described scenes of pursuit and execution. The phrase, "no quarter," was reportedly heard. It meant no mercy. When the smoke finally settled over Fort Pillow, bodies lay scattered across the slopes, inside the trenches, and along the riverbank. Of the roughly 600 defenders, more than 200 were dead. Among the black soldiers, the death toll was devastatingly high. For many in the North, this was not just a battle. It was a massacre. When news reached Washington, outrage followed swiftly. President Abraham Lincoln received detailed reports of what had happened. Fort Pillow became a symbol of something larger, the racial brutality embedded within the war. From that day forward, black Union regiments fought with a phrase echoing among them. Remember Fort Pillow, not merely as a cry for revenge, but as a reminder that their fight was also for survival. After that day, many understood. If captured, they might not make it home. Fort Pillow did not decide the Civil War, but it revealed how far hatred could push armed men. It showed that in the chaos of war, humanity can disappear in seconds. And along the quiet banks of the Mississippi, history was written in blood. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful historical narratives like this, make sure to like and share this video, because remembering is a way of honoring and of learning from the darkest chapters of our past.